What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Rick and Morty episode review. So, as we heard on Twitter, this episode was not going to be a huge, massive gimmick episode like the episode we've had before with the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, those kind of things. It's not going to be that kind of thing like Mad Max. This was simply a Rick and Morty story on a sci-fi adventure. Even if you can call it that, really, it wasn't really a sci-fi adventure, in my opinion. It was really an introspective look into their own humanity and their feelings, pretty much. It was the analyse that of Rick and Morty. But it was a really, really good episode. Even though it was incredibly stripped back, this was definitely the most stripped back episode of Rick and Morty we've had for quite some time, because they focused on big, bombastic stories or craziness like Pickle Rick. But this episode looked into just who they are, and I love the fact that it didn't go straight in to the spa or the relaxation. We opened with Morty wanting to get with Jessica, and he finally having the right moment to get with her. But it's all ruined by Rick as he wants to drag him on an adventure. And they go on one which will probably last about 20 minutes, which you'd think that that's going to be the episode. That is it, because, well, the episodes are about 20 minutes without adverts. But this episode just ended up then pretty much going on an insane journey, looking into themselves. And I love the fact they're just there crying into the camera, crying and sobbing in the spaceship at the start of the episode, and they want to simply just relax and everything like that, and they've just been hitting it too hard lately, which is something which we can all agree that sometimes we hit it too hard. So it's taking a look, it's a mirror reflection of ourselves, this episode, and it's a bit too much for me when I was watching it early in the morning, but it was a cool episode nonetheless. And we have a very, very harsh moment where Rick chews out the poor guy who's trying to get them to go into this kind of detoxing spa, which isn't really something which I'd think that they would go for, especially Rick falling for this kind of new age detoxing man stuff, which is really just a bit shit and doesn't really work. I mean, the science for detox and everything like that has proven that your body's more efficient than that tea that you bought for £10 or $20. However, he goes into this and he kind of, what we can agree with as well, when he chews the guy out, he's like, are you on commission? Is you just doing this to get an upsell or something like that? Which we can all agree we're sick of people doing that. And again, another kind of look at the life here. And as they go into it, all of their toxins are removed. And I like this. I really like the way they did this. So the toxins were another person, and Rick, even without the toxins, can realise that he needs these bad feelings, these horrible, horrible kind of parts of his personality. And it was really cool that it was simply just a different version of themselves that were all drippy and gooey. And I like the fact he literally just got out of that kind of shadow realm thing, making toxic electricity. And Morty is there, it's like, I've got an annoying voice, and then Rick agrees with him, but also says that it's his best quality, which, you know what, it kind of is. That's what makes him so unique, and it's just funny doing his voice when you're just going off on a mad rant. However, we see them try and live without these personalities. Now, Morty has always been the one who can live without the craziness and the madness of Rick, especially when he was gone. Morty was, he just wanted to live. He just wanted to chill out and live without these crazy adventures. And we saw him here. He was happy without all these insecurities and these things. And I think that is kind of the everyman. We're like, we just want to sit and live without these kind of triggers, these kind of idiosyncrasies that make us ourselves. And that's what we would like. But in reality, Rick is the kind of the harsh reality that's what makes us ourselves. And that is when it all goes wrong. And poor old Morty, he wants to live this life. He wants to live this perfect life. And he he thinks that he's living this perfect life, but all he really wanted to do was have the date with the girl of his dreams, which didn't work out. And I love the fact he's just like, oh yeah, it's crudité or whatever I think that's that. And it's just like some carrot sticks. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna go. And she's got the low battery as well. And I love how what happened to Morty is that he's turned into these new age douchebags who are like, yeah, I've eschewed technology. I've got rid of it. I've got myself a little clamshell phone. And there is always those dicks who are like, you know, what are you doing? You don't need the internet. It's like, yeah, but I want the internet. You don't need any of this stuff. You don't need to watch this video. You don't need to comment, but it'd be nice. You don't need to like or subscribe, but it would be nice. That is what has happened. He's turned into a new age sort of guy, the annoying guy at work who's like, oh, why are you watching this favourite show of yours? Why are you obsessed with this pop culture? Why are you like poring over the latest Taylor Swift lyrics? It's like, well, what else is there? Really, what else in this gaping maw of humanity is there? And that is what has happened here. So we have Rick with the reality that we need to get this part of ourselves back. We need the whole horribleness, because that's what makes you you. You need two parts of you, in my opinion. You need to have that kind of get this checks and balances. And that's what Rick says. He says that, well, I don't care. I haven't got this irrational fear of companionship, which the bad person, the toxic personality did, which really, and this is quite clever here, I think, of the writer of this episode, where he says that what makes the toxic part is subjective or objective. I never remember which one, but that is what makes you you, and it's to you that what feels kind of toxic. Now, my favourite part of this episode was the fight between Toxic Rick and normal Rick there. And they fight in, and they know exactly where their hidden sort of antidotes are and everything like that. And it was cool action. I love the fact that that huge monster rips them in half, but then they clone themselves somehow using this. And the whole thing was the end game of Toxic Rick was to turn everyone completely toxic, but then that never worked. And I love the fact that Morty was like, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm not going to merge with my toxic self. I'm gonna go. And he lives this sort of American cycle, this American Wall Street dream, but then it doesn't go well. And I love the fact that when he was closing that sale, it was proper like Wolf of Wall Street. That moment in Wolf, I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't seen it, it's fantastic. You need to see it. And he's just sitting there, and he's just giving this American dream to someone else. He's giving that. He's passing that on. And he thinks he's happy. But really he knows he isn't. He knows that this isn't what he should be doing. This isn't his destiny. And then Voltron bots take him. Voltron drones. And the fact that turns into a Voltron robot. I was sitting there. I was like, what the hell even just happened? And we find out that, well, Morty and Rick are meant to go on these adventures, and Rick, he really does kind of have a feelings. He has like a paternal sort of thing for his grandson, really, in the end, when it all comes down to it. So a great episode here, a really great introspective episode. It won't be instantly quotable. It won't be a Pickle Rick. It won't be a Mr. Meeseeks, but it was just a genuinely great episode. However, that is it for this video. Please do drop a like. Please do subscribe. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.